gym, man.
That was a bopski right there. That shit got off. Ready for the morning while SP unmutes himself.
Right?
What a great start.
That entrance is a whole vibe. I'm like, whoa, I feel like woo.
Jam into that shit.
Right.
Well, hello. It is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3. We are live on Facebook, Twitter, and our YouTube channel for True Hill Heat 119, Forbidden No More. We're going to get into a lot of the latest wrestling news, including Week 71 of the Wednesday Night Wars with AEW Dynamite featuring Christian Cage's in-ring debut versus Frankie Kazarian, and WWE NXT featuring the final build to NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver. Chris Jericho making a shocking announcement that he will be the next guest on Stone Cold's Broken Skull Sessions. The fallout from ROH 19th anniversary show, the reaction to the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. And speaking of them, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Sakura Genesis this weekend. We got preview and predictions, and we might as well do it for NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver Night 1 as well. But, of course, I am here with the lovely, the beautiful Miss Krssi Love.
Good morning, all. Hello. The girlhood dream is here. How are everyone?
In your lair, in your
yeah,
Spidey
Spider-Man. Yeah,
the best room in the house.
And of course, we have the resident True Hill alcoholic himself. It is Saturday morning, but you know what that means for a top guy, JJ. It means that it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Cheers.
It's happy hour somewhere in that manner. You hear that? You hear that?
Pop.
You hear that pop somewhere?
Of course. And we are joined by a True Hill Heat regular, but since we had a Ring of Honor pay-per-view, I thought it was an appropriate time for him to make his return. We have the Stat King.
What's going on, guys? Glad to be here. Thanks for having me as always.
Welcome, Stat. What's going on, friend?
Not too much.
We had to bring in a very special guest. Last time we went live, we had Rick Ucchino of Sports Keto Wrestling. We had to bring in another podcast host, someone who is very witty. I joined him on Stephanie Chase's YouTube channel for her New Japan Pro Wrestling and AEW Super card. And I have to say, this man had a stellar card, but he missed out on making Sting versus Hiroshi Tanahashi. He wasn't living the dream, but I'm not going to hold that against him. He is the co-host of Post Wrestling's British Wrestling Experience and host of GRAPPL app Spotlight, the one, the only, Benno. What's going on, sir?
Hey, man. Good to be on here, SP3. Yeah, we bonded on Steph's show. I feel like our shows were very, very similar. I think me and you, we could be like a booking team, but yeah, I'm never gonna live down that Sting Tanahashi. Not choosing that match. That is the match now. That's the dream match that I want to see. But no, awesome. Made up to be here.
That's the main event, man. You should have went with your gut, gone with the main event and the dream match, but. I do a pretty good job of introducing people, but I love to hear from them themselves their first time on True Hill Heat. So please tell the people everything you're doing, because you're a man that's very busy.
Yeah, that's it. We're doing a lot at the moment, as you can see from the hat. I do the British Wrestling Experience on Post Wrestling. As we were saying before we started, not been the most fun thing to cover the last couple of years, British wrestling, but we do our best. We're actually going live right after this. We've got an interview with Gary Michael Capetta of WCW fame on the Post Wrestling Cafe, where we're going to be covering British wrestling in Europe. So that's one of the hats that I wear, and the other stuff is as you said, GRAPPL. We do the official podcast, The GRAPPL, which is a match rating app that everyone can download wherever you get your apps. And yeah, over there we just cover a bit like kind of the rundown you ran through there, really, whatever's going on in the week of wrestling. So yeah, I feel right at home here. I think I've been talked into cracking a beer here. It's 2:30 p.m. here, so it's not too bad. I've been I don't know. I'm easily influenced as a human being, so it's feeling a lot like being on GRAPPL right now. So I like it.
We're gonna give Top Guy JJ the moniker of Mr. Peer Pressure. He tends to do this. We did this with Stephanie as well. So Steph, you and Steph can compare notes and be like, yeah, they make you drink. Yeah, like
listen. Stephanie just had the she just had the cojones for True Heel Heat at 3 p.m. And come on, you can't follow behind Steph, and Stephanie's a gem. You can't follow behind Steph and not at least have a beer, like you know. You got, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's peer pressure. It's definitely peer pressure.
yeah.
But JJ, you talk about my background. Look at his background. His background looks wicked.
Well, I was saying to SP3 before we started. I'm not using podcasting in daytime.
That's my that's my things right there.
Got the Xbox 360. Oh
no, he's talking about Benno. Like, Top Guy JJ thinks she's
you know I'm glowing. I always gloat about tighten up, you know. Any chance
yours looks good too.
I love the newspaper in the background.
Yes.
That's like a wrestling card from the old school wrestling card that we used to see.
Yeah, I've got a Ring of Honor signed by Ric Flair. Bought that for £10 once at a show. It was just sat at the side on a merch table. Yes. So I presume it's the real Ric Flair's autograph on it.
As we would hope. I hope you didn't get marked.
I remember those shows too. I remember those shows. But yes, this show is all about you guys watching True Heel Heat. So put your comments in the live chat. Join us live if you're watching on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube. We got Jason Michael Campbell watching us on YouTube right now. He says, "Sup, y'all." We got Frantic World saying, "What's up, everybody?" We got Drunk Guy JJ calling me out on the botch, saying Sid with the botch 5 seconds in. My internet was kind of wonky during that whole intro, so excuse me for that. But of course, Drunk Guy JJ has to call it out because I'm on like 5 hours of sleep from our Iron Man.
Word, that's all of us.
Along. It was a lot of fun. 25 years since Shawn Michaels versus Bret the Hitman are part of our WrestleMania week lineup, which is going to be a lot of content for you. We are only on the second day of the WrestleMania week lineup, but we want to hear from you guys. Put your comments in the live chat. We want to hear your thoughts on everything going on in the wrestling world. And of course, we start off True Heel Heat with the True Heel Roll Call. This is where we shout out everyone supporting us on social media and on YouTube, our top 3 conversation starters on our True Heels group page on Facebook. We got coming in at number 3, once again, is James Wims, Top Guy JJ. He's there, but he's not up to the number 1 spot like you want him to.
Listen, I don't know if I'm gonna have to offer him a drink or what his cup of tea is, because we gotta turn that up a notch, man. It's WrestleMania week, man. You're supposed to be in that section.
Hey, he's getting up there. He's got one more True Heel Heat to get to the number 1 spot. Our Gino Bismo comes in at number 2, and coming in at number 1 for the 3rd week straight is Charles Kirkhoff. You got True Heels. We got to shout out Coda Bear, Dave Newman, Molly Fernan, and WrestleScopes TV, one of the supporters and the good eggs from the Wrestling Daily community. A couple of YouTube subscriber highlights. We got Kwame Shafir commenting on True Heel Heat 118. WWE Filler Lane was like making an unnecessary stop at a rundown gas station to get gas for the car.
Wow.
That you got to highlight comments like that,
right?
5th Generation Carney says on True Heel Heat 118. Top Guys' thoughts on Andrade are 100% bang on the banana, and True Draw Josh, who is on Blunt Impact, commented on True Heel Heat 118, and he says it's definitely like Cena versus Brock as far as the AEW versus NXT Wednesday Night War. More so because NXT tried every way possible to numerously counter-program AEW to the point it's changed their product on the long run. So that brings us to our top news. We're going to switch it up this week. We're not going to start with the Wednesday Night Wars because we had a big announcement going on just a couple of days ago. Chris Jericho to appear on Stone Cold's Broken Skull Sessions. In shocking news for a lot of fans, it was announced via a fantastic video teaser using the old countdown intro that AEW's Chris Jericho will be the next guest on Stone Cold Steve Austin's Broken Skull Sessions on WWE's Peacock, on WWE/Peacock Network. Stone Cold Steve Austin later revealed how this came about in an interview with Sports Illustrated. He says, and I quote, "I was having a beer one night after my Broken Skull Session interview with The Undertaker aired, and out of the blue, Chris Jericho reached out and said, 'Man, that was a great interview.' I sent him back a couple of those emojis and one of the beer mug and the other of an eagle. And then he called me right then and there and he suggested the idea." Austin later talked about how he checked with Vince McMahon to get clearance to get Jericho on the WWE Network with Stone Cold, saying, "I text Vince and said, we had this badass idea about Jericho coming on the show." Vince goes, "It's cool, go ahead." But me and Vince don't always do well with phones and texts and all of that. So I text him one more time. "Are you sure it's okay to have Chris Jericho on the show?"
You gotta make sure.
Let me clarify. Chris Jericho, not another Chris Jericho. And he said that Vince gave me the thumbs up and Chris came out to do the show. So we will start with our special guest, Benno. What are your thoughts on Jericho being on the Broken Skull Sessions? And if you were Stone Cold Steve Austin and you have AEW's Chris Jericho on the Broken Skull Session on the Peacock Network, what is the one question you are going to ask?
Oh, wow. I think the questions I'd want to ask get cut out of the broadcast, unfortunately. That's the thing I worry about, because, I mean, initially, like, it's just shock, isn't it, that this is happening, that it's been agreed to, that Jericho's appearing on a WWE show. In a way, it doesn't shock me that Tony Khan greenlight something like that. Like, because you could imagine him saying, "Well, yeah, I mean, you're going to go on there, and you know, if anything, it helps us. You know, you put yourself over, maybe throw an AEW reference in there. That's a good thing." It's Vince McMahon giving it the green light. That's the shocker for me. But it just it makes me think, at this point in his career, does Vince McMahon know what AEW is, and two, does he know that Chris Jericho works there? Or has he forgotten? Like, that's the only explanation for me how this has happened.
Hold on.
I mean, he's an older man. I'm not saying anything.
He's probably just he's thinking to himself, like, does Fozzy have a record out? Like, is Jericho doing promo? Like, what is?
Is he going on? Is he doing a cruise?
Yeah.
he's like, what is going on? Why is he reaching out right now? So, Stag King,
who is this?
Well, no, Benno. What is the one question that you have to give us one question that, if you're Stone Cold, you have to ask Chris Jericho? And please, in the comments, all of our viewers, put in the live chat what your question would be if you were Stone Cold to Chris Jericho.
I think I'm a troublemaker, so I just want to know, you know, why he left WWE, why he signed for AEW, what's the differences working for AEW versus WWE. I want to see that stuff covered. Knowing Stone Cold Steve Austin, I imagine he'll ask those questions. Like I said before, though, the question is whether that makes it past the editing team. And you know, Jericho, he's not going to avoid talking those kind of subjects. I just hope, we get questions like that, and it's not just, remembering, 1999 when you came to the WWF, and it's all historical stuff. Like, I want that covered too, but that's what I want to know about. I want to know, WWE to AEW exit.
Understandable. Stat King, what is your thoughts on Jericho being on the Broken Skull Session, and what is your question?
I like it. I think that it's good for both companies. I think that one thing that Tony Khan's always kind of been about is he doesn't care if it necessarily benefits, if something benefits AEW in the short term or the long term. It's more about, is this good for wrestling? Is this good for wrestling fans? And I think that having, even if Jericho wasn't part of AEW, Jericho on the podcast is something good for wrestling and for wrestling fans. So I think Tony Khan is looking at it from that perspective, and he's like, if we get some kind of bump off of it, if there's some kind of short-term or long-term benefit that we have because of it, the more the merrier. If anything, it looks like he can use that to other promotions that ROH that haven't come into the fold of this forbidden door being opening. And he can say, look, we're willing to work with WWE. Obviously, we let Jericho go on there. So maybe there's something we can figure out amongst ourselves. And as for the question, this would definitely not make the broadcast, but I saw a meme that asked the question, and I think it has to be asked, where was your wife on January 6th, 2021?
Oh,
wow. That would have to be the question, but it's not making the broadcast for sure.
Wow. Okay. Coming in hot. All right.
Right.
All right. All right, Krssi Love, you got to follow that.
Who's the better boss? Tony Khan or Vince?
Ooh.
I'm sure I know the answer to that one, but whatever. But I think it's great. It just shows growth, I guess, for Vince. Just a teach, just not a lot. Just a little bit, because Vince is still a fuckboy. But anywho, it just shows that you don't have to be so petty to bring up both brands, and like he said, like John said, you basically in the long run, if it's gonna promote AEW just a little bit on someone else's network, why not? He's been doing it on Impact for the longest now. So listen, hey, why not one more stop on the road to being AEW greatness, right?
Another notch on his map of taking over the wrestling world.
Exactly.
He's gonna have an AEW star on the Peacock Network. Top guy JJ, what's your thoughts? What's your question if you're Austin asking Chris Jericho?
First of all, honestly, kudos to motherfucking Vince McMahon. Like, I ain't even gonna lie. Like, for him to actually, I'm just saying, like, he's actually starting to realize that we're in 2021 and not 1997. That every good publicity is actually a good thing for wrestling. That might actually get more eyes on his product in a very struggling time on a viewership side. They're not struggling financially, but on the viewership side, a little bit of a struggle. But the honestly, the question would be honestly the straw that broke him to just say I'm done. Like, what was it? Like, because obviously every man has his breaking point, and just want to see because he was obviously so loyal for almost 20 years. Like, what was it? Like, because once he got to AEW, once he got outside of the WWE, you saw all his creative juices flowing. What was the straw? Because clearly he didn't have much power when he was over there.
That's what it seems like the most, is that he has freedom here, and that's why he's been on this hot streak, whether it's been in New Japan, whether it's been in AEW. Without Vince McMahon, since like the turn of the last 4 or 5 years, Chris Jericho has been one of the hottest wrestlers in the entire industry. And this is such a great opportunity for not only, Stone Cold Steve Austin to interview him, the WWE Peacock Network. This is a draw. Like, for people who aren't instantly drawn in by WrestleMania and the allure of the big show, they have something of a podcast that's going to draw people in, at least going to have one or two quotes that you're going to want to talk about, whether it's just them talking about Chris Jericho's WWE career or not. He's an AEW guy. Like, he's an AEW guy now. So just having him on the Peacock Network feels like it's a big time, occasion. And if this is the little nuggets that we get of a working relationship of some kind between AEW and WWE, I'm all for it. I'm not
I'll take
for
it.
The tribalism. More togetherness. If something is good, it's good. Whether it's WWE, whether it's AEW, New Japan, we call it like we see it here. I know Benno does the same on his podcast, or whenever he's talking about whatever. Talks about British wrestling, and he says British wrestling is dead. So this man calls it like he sees it. So I know he does the same, but I enjoy nuggets like this. This is little treasures for wrestling fans, because this is an occasion that I think none of us saw coming. So it's very fun. So
it's better than nothing.
It's true.
No, this is better than something though. This is actually
that's what
not
I'm
just a
saying.
standard guy. This is Chris freaking Jericho. Like this is huge, dude. This is huge.
I think Jericho's the only guy who can pull this off as well. I think he's the only one who's got the power in both companies to kind of, to be a name enough that WWE let him on the network and to talk, if he had to, talk Tony Khan into doing it as well. But I know you say I have to speak my mind there. I disagree. I just want war. I don't want this friends business. I want AEW to take Vince out of business. That's my long-term plan. I want like Tony Khan to own the corpse of World Wrestling Entertainment one day, but I'm just a bitter fan. That's just it.
You want the Fed dead. You want the Fed dead. Oh man.
Look, man, I've had to sit through 3-hour Raws for how many years? 20 years of this shite. Like that's all I want. I want Big Tone to be
Must you really remind us? Must you remind us about the post-attitude 3 hours of Raw that we have to endure?
They remind us because that's the only thing available on the Peacock Network. But we got John Elite.
Literally, yeah.
It is literally John Elite. We got in the comments saying, "Sup, guys?" The question: How is Ken? The question now is: can they even talk about stuff regarding AEW? I think that
I'm sure
everyone will be talking about the fact that they didn't if they don't. So they have to and I think they should be right at the start, but regardless of when they do it, they have to touch on something regarding AEW.
Yeah, this would be the biggest blunder that they could possibly have if they don't talk about the obvious. They got to talk about the obvious. This is what every wrestling fan is obviously going to be tuning in for. So to talk about anything other than that, it's a big blunder.
And they're easy ways to transition into it. You just have Stone Cold bring up the fact that Jericho beat him and Rock in the same night, and then Jericho says something along the lines of, "That's not the only first I've ever done." And then they ask him about being the first champion, and there are ways to do it.
There is no wrong way to talk about that shit. They gonna segue right into it. They just gonna blast right into it. Ain't gonna be no setup. Stone Cold is gonna. I hope it's just he just shoot the shit and just start popping the questions because he's really good at that.
Yes.
You want Austin to shoot a shot. All right. We got to move on to what we missed, guys, because we always talk about the Wednesday Night Wars, and this is the second to last time that we will be talking about a Wednesday Night War. Krssi, one will be the retirement of your drums. Can you believe it, Krssi?
I know. I'm so sad. Oh, this is so bad.
So I will let you get your drums in. We're going to give them the ratings. We're going to talk about what happened on both shows. And then we're going to get everybody's opinion on what was the better show for the week. Krssi Love, take it away. So for week 71 of the Wednesday Night Wars, AEW Dynamite comes in with 700,000 viewers to WWE NXT with 658,000 viewers. This is one of the lowest markers for them of 2021, the lowest since February 10th. Pretty good shows on both accounts, though the ratings are down for both shows. AEW Dynamite with one of their more complete shows, headlined by an amazing, overachieving Arcade Anarchy match where Orange Cassidy and Chucky T defeated Miro and Kip Sabian, thanks to the returns of Chris Statlander, Trent, and the real legend, Trent's mom, Sue. Christian Cage defeated Frankie Kazarian in a thrilling opener. Very impressive in-ring debut for Christian in AEW. QT Marshall turned heel officially, punching Arn Anderson to cause the first no contest in AEW history against Cody. And then Nick Comoroto, Aaron Solo, and Anthony Ogogo joined forces with QT to beat down the Nightmare Family. Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers beat the Lucha Bros and Laredo Kid in an awesome trios match. John Moxley and the Young Bucks confronted the Elite. Don Callis verbally assaulted. He verbally raped Matt Jackson backstage. I felt bad for Matt Jackson and his family. The Inner Circle returned to get revenge on the Pinnacle in a very fun backstage brawl. And then over on NXT, it was more final build for NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver. Raquel Gonzalez beat up Io Shirai ahead of TakeOver 3 times. in a making Io Shirai a dummy babyface night, it seemed, throughout the night, before Io got revenge in a show-closing brawl to end the show. A beautiful video package hyping Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly unsanctioned match at TakeOver Stand and Deliver, and we got a great promo from Tommaso Ciampa, as well as final hype for Karrion Kross versus Finn Balor. Benno, we're going to start with you. You are our special guest. What did you think was the better show this week, AEW or NXT, the second to last of the Wednesday Night War?
I mean, you could ask me any week, and I'm going to say AEW. I'm very much an AEW homer. Yeah, I'm with you on this one, SP3. Yeah, I mean, AEW, AEW, like, they've had such a great run in these recent times. I suppose it's really frustrating that it doesn't result in great viewership. Like you mentioned, those numbers there, like 700,000. It's just doesn't feel appropriate for, I think, the quality of the show these last few weeks. It probably says something about the fact that they've been going with, unproven acts in main events. You look at last week, John Silver being in a main event. As I know he's in there with a Darby Allin, but still, that they took a chance and that kind of worked. And this week they took a chance with a main event that, let's all be honest, the feud has been pretty terrible. Kip Sabian and Miro against the best friends. I mean, the match itself turned out incredible, but it's probably no surprise that it didn't do great in the ratings overall. But as far as quality of show goes, yeah, it's got to be AEW, because I can't remember a show where when the show ends, I was in as good a mood as I was when AEW ends. Pixie's playing, they're all giving the thumbs up to Sue. It's just it was feel good wrestling television that you don't get. Like you don't get that from. I mentioned before about, I'm still bitter at the 20 odd years for me, the last 20 years of WWE. I haven't really given me a happy moment like that. I can't think of any. Maybe the CM Punk Summer of Punk if you forced me, but and this was just a TV main event and it left me feeling like that. So I think that says everything. And I think, right now AEW have got it down as far as pride and like a variety show TV product. You get a great 6-man with the Lucha Brothers. You get a great nice moments at the end. You get big angles like the Inner Circle stuff, and even the Cody stuff as well. It was a home run Dynamite this week for me, so I've got to go with them.
Yes, we got one for AEW from Benno. We're gonna take it over to Stat King since you're joining us. Sir, what did you think was the better show for the week? Or should we even be asking you? Your last couple of times on here, you told me you don't even watch NXT anymore. And you're gonna make me start being like Romeo. And be like, come on, give them a chance.
Unfair. I have not watched any WWE product since the Raw after Money in the Bank, with the exception of the Roman Reigns Jey Uso match. The first time they had the match, because Trueface Steve asked me to watch it for my opinion. So I can't really. I'll punt on the question of picking which show, but I will say that Dynamite was a incredible, really good show. Just from to pick up on what Benno was saying, just that feel good moments throughout the entire show, and they were able to sprinkle in feel bad moments, which were then properly counterweighted by the feel good moments. We start just the fact that they're starting off with Christian Cage and Frankie Kazarian. You would almost expect that to be either the main event or somewhere deeper in the card, like maybe right around that hour mark, so that you have people switching over and all that kind of stuff. But they were like, no, we're gonna start with our big name. And Christian did not disappoint in that first singles match in 6-7 years. I mean, he did look a little gassed at some points, but throughout the whole match, they told a really great story of not needing to. I think that match helped to differentiate some of the other things from AEW, because a lot of times we get that top rope spot where they jump over and there's everybody crowded around on the outside. We get a tope suicidas. How many times does Excalibur says tope suicida more times than Michael Cole says WWE Universe? So it's a high number of times you see that in the match. But these two guys went out there and told more of an old school story. And for somebody who, cheap plug, if you guys aren't watching Dark Power, as the guy who reviews AEW Dark and Dark Elevation, to see a storyline play out on Dynamite that really originated and found its home on Dark has been really great. This is something that I've been talking about and saying that they need to work on. Anthony Ogogo, who is always on commentary for AEW Dark, if you listen to him, he praised QT much more than Cody. He always talked about his loyalty to QT and the training that QT teaches him over Cody. When Nick Camarado joined the Nightmare family, QT Marshall came out with him for his matches, and Nick Camarado would come out with QT for his matches. Aaron Solo has a connection there as well because he's the guy who teams up with Lee Johnson, who praised Cody and Dustin and Brandy, but not QT. And Aaron Solo is the one who takes the pinfalls. So all three of those guys have a reason to be siding with QT over Cody. And to see that happening in real time is really great. And then that Inner Circle return was outstanding. Just in the final shot of taking off the placard of the Pinnacle and putting up the placard of the Inner Circle. If that's, I have a feeling that's going to be the next Stadium Stampede. That's what I'm hoping for, and that'll be a really good thing. We know that Tony said that he wants to do it once a year, like make it kind of an event, and they're clearly building towards that. Either them or I guess maybe the Hardy family office versus the Dark Order. But that was just a really great episode. Loved it.
Yeah, now that you mention that, I'd rather the Stadium Stampede be the Hardy family office versus the Dark Order, because the Santana and Ortiz portion of that brawl was not feel appropriate with how they were in the Stadium Stampede.
Yeah.
That needs blood and guts, maybe.
Exactly. This seems like a blood and guts type of match when a guy's trying to poke his eye out with a piece of wood. Like, yeah, that's the point we're going to. Krssi Love, what was the better show for the week this week?
So I feel bad that NXT has such horrible ratings because it could have been at least in the 7s because it wasn't a bad show. It was a good show for the lead up. Someone playing with my damn lights. Hold on.
They pulled out
the Super Bowl on you. They pulled out that Ravens Niners Super Bowl and cut your lights off.
AEW is having a lights out match near you. That's what happened.
Unsanctioned.
It's your kids. Your kids are about to have a lights out match.
This review is unsanctioned.
Unsanctioned.
Word, you heard the kids about to have a lights out. You doing all right. You see, my hat came off real fast. Hold on, wait. Anywho,
she became Mama Lynch real quick.
Right.
Absolutely.
But it's unfortunate that their ratings were low because it was a good show and it was a good lead off to what we're going to see this upcoming week. However, the better, you see what I'm saying?
Somebody's playing some tricks on you, Boo Boo.
Oh man, it's the Fiend.
When I get off this podcast, boy, oh boy, and I know they're watching. That's why.
I just want to know which one is it, London or Bryson?
It could be Bryson. No, I don't even know. They're probably doing it together.
Oh, this is definitely on purpose. This is definitely on purpose.
This is a nice little prank. There you go.
But my answer is AEW. Okay, since someone would keep playing with my damn lights.
They clicking on like you can't do shit. You're recording live. You're recording. You can't do shit.
What was the better show for the week? AEW or NXT?
You know what's crazy? Kind of picky and in a sense, I'm picking what Krssi says a little bit is that I'm actually enjoying what NXT is offering to me on this road to TakeOver. I just wish that it kind of feels like they've actually had a little bit of time for this stand and deliver build. So they've had about a month or so, at least compared to their standards of having 2 to 3 weeks to build the whole pay-per-view. I'm just kind of not feeling that they're throwing like 27 matches for TakeOver now. Like, oh shit, they have one.
Right,
it's a match of TakeOver. Oh, it's a match of TakeOver. So I think they have about 13, almost. They have like 11 matches total for TakeOver, which is a first. Like that's never happened for a TakeOver before. But 11 matches, like that's a lot for a TakeOver. So I'm expecting a lot out of this TakeOver. But as far as the shows, honestly, like I'm gonna go slightly with AEW because they over delivered in that Arcade Anarchy match for me, because I thought that match was gonna be such shit. I really thought, because the feud has been whack. Like let's call a spade a spade. Like AEW has been delivering on so many cylinders. This feud has not been one of them.
Yeah, you're right.
And the fact that this is their AEW's version of turning chicken shit into chicken salad. Because for 1 week, this was golden to see. Like, this was golden to see. Like, seeing Trent come back looking like a badass, and then seeing Miro damn near looking like he about to kill Mama Sue. And everything about it was just fun. Like the arcade spots was fun. I was considering trying to turn in 20,000 tickets to get one of those props out of the wall too. It was such good work by them, and I really commend when they over deliver on something. It doesn't make it like, oh my god, this is one of the best shows, but honestly, like they delivered on so many other still. Like, my god, the MVP of the whole night to me, this is just my opinion, was Don Callis. Like, oh my god, what Don Callis did to Matt Jackson. Oh my, I was like, you just got played.
I think Don Callis has been waiting for this opportunity to happen so bad.
Don Callis,
he's having so much fun doing this.
Oh my god, yeah.
Like, dude, his mic work has been phenomenal since even partnering with AEW. But to me, that was his best work right there. Like, what he did to Matt Jackson emotionally, what he did to him emotionally. Like, he got him so mad, and then his heart came out. He's like, "That's it, Dad, you really are. You're pathetic. I don't even want to see you."
He's so into it. He's so into it. He forgot he's Canadian. He's like, "That's it, eh?"
Like that's it. Oh my god! Don Callis is bringing such an element to Kenny Omega's entire story. Like, it's just making me enjoy this heel run more than I've enjoyed any heel run. God knows how long. Like, this has been such fun to watch. Such fun. And AEW to me is just clicking. And then the Inner Circle return was, to me, like, oh my god, that brawl was fucking beautiful. Like, there was just so many areas that I feel like AEW, QT Marshall, color me disintrigued still. I don't give a fuck about any of that. No, that shit was I don't give. That shit to me was poorly executed. That shit was whack as hell. The attack was garbage. Like, the best thing about the entire attack to me was that power driver to Dustin. Like, that was the best thing. But a gut punch to Cody, like, really?
He's a boxer.
He's an Olympic boxer.
Whatever. Like, come on. Like, whatever. We're in a wrestling program. You're gonna hit me with the boxer hit him with a gut punch. Like, whatever. Come on. I'm calling spades. Like, that power driver was sick. I love the power driver on the stairs. That shit was a thing of beauty. But the rest of it, to me, man,
it's about as devastating. It's about as devastating as when Adam Cole hits Kyle O'Reilly with a super kick that Kyle O'Reilly's taken 1,000 times in the matches, but then he just sells it for like 5 minutes as though this is the most devastating move, like a pile driver on steel steps. That's kind of like I guess that's similar to what you're saying about an Olympic level boxer hitting somebody with a gut punch.
All right, so
underestimating him.
So time out. So hold on. So did I fuck up with your opinions?
No, sir.
This was my review and my opinion of the show. I thought that was weak as hell for an attack on the main guy of the Nightmare family. It was only a gut, and then to say, "Oh, please, he's your friend." No, he's not your friend. You just fucked up his whole family. He's not his friend anymore. Y'all not friends.
He is his friend.
No, he's not. They're not friends anymore. They're not friends. He fucked up my whole family. My whole family. It's a dub.
For me, it's less the execution of the angle and more the fact that it's QT Marshall.
Exactly.
Like, am I
That's
really
fair.
supposed
That's
to
fair,
care
yeah.
about QT Marshall? Like, that's the problem. Like, can Cody calm down and pick a feud? Like, how many like things is the dude involved? He's got ADHD. He can't concentrate on one feud at a time. He has to be involved in everything. And now he's lifting up his real life best friend to give him a faction. But it's QT Marshall. Like, who can care?
Yeah, like that's the better point. Like, it's QT Marshall, so obviously not that many people are going to be interested. But I didn't think I would be writing or tweeting that QT Marshall led stable had a good introduction. That was a good introduction in a vacuum. That was a well executed angle. It put over the guys that he was with. Nick Camarado, I think, is going to be the star. He looks like a freaking caveman. He has such a unique look. And Anthony Ogogo, if they can actually get him some seasoning, he does have potential. So we got in the comments on YouTube, we got Nick Jackson saying Arcade Anarchy was way better than I thought it would be. Popped hard for Chris and Trent's returns. And my boy Christian with a great debut match with Kaz. We got Jason Michael Campbell saying everything in AEW is terrible. Get some
He's
actual
such a hater.
writers.
He's a hater. Don't even read it.
We could definitely trash that opinion.
Don't read it. Do not read it.
Justin and I will be on the same page about trashing that.
I mean, every man has an opinion, but God, that shit is wrong. That shit is all
Don't
the way
even read
wrong.
the rest of that. Delete it off the screen, please. Nope. Off the screen.
I gotta listen to Krssi Love because he Love is running the show here. We got Fifth Generation Cardi saying the vignettes on NXT were almost better than the matches. They were. I don't remember the matches on NXT.
And that's why the show. That's why the show. And then the backstage stuff with Gonzalez and Io. That was the stuff that was good.
Yeah, Raquel and Io was good all night. And then that video with Colin Adam, like that was a thing of fucking beauty. That was a thing of fucking beauty to watch. Like NXT has been pretty good. Like we're not saying that they've been terrible, but AEW, we've been saying it for the past few months now that AEW just clicks on different cylinders and we give NXT the bone when it gets it. But AEW it's just a better show. There's a reason they're moving to Tuesdays. There's a reason for this shit.
Yeah. We got Jason Michael Campbell saying, that's nice to know, JJ. I wasn't even counting on that many matches, but at least 10 with 5 on each night. Yeah, so I think it's only like 10. I think it's 5 per night for TakeOver Stand and Deliver. We also got Jason trying to make up for his last comment. I like Don Callis much better in AEW than I did when he was known as the Jackal in WWE. We got Romeo saying way too many characters and factions on AEW. They haven't even gotten QT Marshall over yet, and he's leading a group now. Too much. Of course, Romeo has to get his licks in since he won't be reviewing AEW Dynamite anymore.
It's QT Marshall, man. Like, tell him, get the fuck out of here with that, man. It's QT Marshall, man. I'm sorry, man. He's been Cody's friend, bro. Like, get out of here, man.
Cody's a good job.
If the faction lives forever on Dark and Dark Elevation, I'll be happy. So
that shit is gonna be the retribution of AEW.
I'm with it.
Think about Stat King here. He's gotta have something. He's gotta have a faction for Dark and Dark Elevation. So he's got his faction now. We gotta move on, guys. Well, obviously my pick. I'm just gonna go with you guys. Unanimous. AEW wins. Like I said, I think NXT. The vignettes were better than the matches. If you put both last week and this week of NXT together, it's an awesome go home show. When you split them apart, it's a very good show last week and a good show this week. And AEW had one of their better shows because that lineup didn't look good going in, and it over delivered, especially Arcade Anarchy. Like Benno said, just happiness. I don't feel happy when I stop watching WWE shows.
On a side note, though, I really do like Zoe Stark. I really like Zoe Stark.
We've established that. You said that
I'm going to say that shit until people can't take it. Zoe Stark is pretty damn good.
All right, we gotta move on to WWE SmackDown, which was last night. Daniel Bryan defeating Jey Uso in a street fight, as well as YouTuber and influencer sensation and boxer, apparently, Logan Paul and brother of Jake Paul. Logan Paul was at Sami Zayn's red carpet premiere,
Premiere.
which was a single character performance like you never been seen in WWE before. Sami Zayn is just on point as this annoying character. He was very entertaining during the segment. Logan Paul didn't add much, but he wasn't offensive. So it was what it was. Krssi, you love you some SmackDown. What was your thoughts on last night's show and everything going on with Daniel Bryan, Edge, and Roman Reigns?
Sami Zayn, my God, like this character that he's doing right now, it's pretty damn good, and it is just like, I don't know if they need to. We always need an annoying one. I guess Bailey was the annoying one. Now we have Sammy. Is that makes sense? Like they've, and Sammy's doing so good, and like him dressed up, he had the hair, everything was just like wonderful for him last night. We didn't really need Mr. Paul, like we didn't really need him because he didn't really add much to it, like you just said. But overall, I think the segment was good thanks to Sammy. So that's a plus for that. And showing more shine for Sammy, even if it's in a comedic and stupid, annoying way for him. He's not wrestling, but he's still being shown and still delivering. So that's good for me. I can, appreciate that part for Sammy because he's not sitting in catering. You know what I'm saying? So, right. The whole Daniel Bryan, Jey and Edge Roman thing from last night wasn't bad. It made Daniel look really strong. Of course, he got the win, but he was the one that came out on top and kind of dominated everyone last night. So that's pretty cool. I guess this is the one that's really building up. I guess their matches. The Sasha and Bianca still a little meh. I mean, now they've made it. Is it officially now that they're headlining? Is official? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, we're gonna go over that. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll keep that comment for that time. But overall, the show, it's better than Raw.
That's always
everything
is better than Raw, but
that's always.
So with that being said, not a bad show. Good for for build up for what's coming for next week. So we'll see what's happening.
Benno, you say that you don't watch too often WWE, but what's been your thoughts on like SmackDown's output, kind of being the lead brand and everything going on with like Roman Reigns over there?
Yeah, that's it. Like I think I don't really care for WWE TV at this point. Like I'm past the point where I'm going to put myself through that investment.
That 20 years of bitterness, man, that shit is real, yo.
Man, like the amount of times they've made me go, you know what? Actually, it's been pretty good these last few weeks. They always burn in the end, always. And I've loved this Roman Reigns stuff. Like, especially a couple of months back when he first started getting into it. It's literally SmackDown is Roman Reigns chewing scenery and just things happening around him. He's incredible, like absolutely incredible. Like he's so good at this character. He should have done it 4 years ago. He'd be the world's biggest babyface now if they pulled that trigger. It's a shame that again because he's going to get cheered at WrestleMania now, which is the irony of all ironies. But what can you do? But yeah, I do generally enjoy SmackDown. I think it's had some weeks recently. Maybe not as good as it was a couple of months ago. But I thought this week's show, I watched it live last night and I enjoyed it overall. I think the Roman Reigns Bryan Edge story I can give or take. I mean, Edge, Jesus Christ, like lockdown's been hard for all of us, but what's happened to that man in the last 3 years? He was a good-looking dude. Like he's aged about 30 years in like 5 matches back with WWE.
Vikings, that's what happened.
Maybe.
Vikings had him like change his whole like look and his hair and his
the
face,
short hair and stuff.
Yeah, so it had to all change it up, and it was more for the acting role. So that can give you that a little bit.
Oh, fair enough. But I don't know. I don't know how much I want to see Edge. Yeah. I just don't know how much I want to see Edge in 2021, really. But I do appreciate that they've changed gears and he's basically a heel now, if not a tweener. You add Daniel Bryan to any match, it's going to make me more interested. And if anything, it's that wonder of what happens when you put them three men in front of a live crowd at WrestleMania. How does a live crowd react to it? So, despite themselves, they may be interested in that storyline. The rest of the show I can give or take. I mean, to be honest, I thought Jake Paul was okay, for the segments. I think as far as celebrities coming in and having to fit into a WWE structured segment goes, I don't think he looked hugely out of place. He looked like a normal human being, just in the way he was dressed, and he's like a normal person. But also, I think for maybe I'm an old man, but younger people than me, I always think of my little brother. He's a genuine celebrity. If anything, he's culturally relevant in a way you wouldn't expect WWE to know about. There's no way Vince McMahon knows who he is or who KSI is. He's more of an AEW hire than a WWE hire, I think. So I don't know. I see a lot of talk about him being a negative to the Owens and Zayn stuff, but for me, I don't think maybe he's not a huge positive, but I don't think he's a negative in any way either. And I love Zayn and Owens. I've always loved them back to the Jericho and Steen days, but WWE have done that match a lot of times, and it's hard. It sounds crazy for me to say that it takes something to get me interested in them two going up against each other again, but I think this adds something. I think you're absolutely right that Sami Zayn's character work has been incredible. He's a real highlight of TV as well. So I haven't got a huge problem with that either. So they're kind of the two programs that stick out to me as interesting right now.
Yeah, there's 2 points that I want to piggyback off of what you said. I think that I think going in, we probably thought, especially after Fastlane, that Edge was the tweener, Roman was the heel, Daniel Bryan is the babyface. I think they firmly have established that Daniel Bryan is the babyface in this feud, but Edge has really positioned himself as the heel. He's the one that's whining all the time. He's the one that's really sniping at Daniel Bryan, while Roman Reigns has kind of been stuck in the middle and forced into a situation that he doesn't want to be in. He's the tweener. I think WWE knows we all know, that Roman Reigns is going to have some fans at WrestleMania come WrestleMania Sunday. So it's better to position him in this way than otherwise. And also what you said with the Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, the Logan Paul situation, I think that it's good, like you said, for the whole feud, because it puts them in a prominent position. They were on the top of the second hour on this show. They've been in very prime positions during this whole feud, and now they have a celebrity involvement. And you take the 2 matches that are ROH dream matches at WrestleMania with Cesaro and Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. That last night, that Seth Rollins and Cesaro segment, that was filler. That could have they didn't know where they wanted to go with that. They didn't know their destination. They didn't tell us anything new. They in fact confirmed that this is the same exact storyline that we saw with Seth last year, with him talking down to Kevin Owens for his failures at WrestleMania, doing it again with Cesaro. So that was a waste of time, while Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens were a part of the most entertaining segment of the show. So that should tell you where both of those feuds are at. But we got to move on from SmackDown and talk about Raw, where I just have a question for you guys. Why did the WWE split up the Hurt Business?
Oh my God. We want to know the same answer to you because it's retarded.
Krssi Love.
The hair business want to know.
Krssi Love, I think this is a great question for the one, the only, Mr. Rants on this show. Top guy, JJ. He seems like he's fuming. I see smoke coming out of his
ears. Me too. Yes, I see it.
Smoke coming out of his ears. So, top guy, JJ, you have the floor.
I'll let him sip. You got to sip first.
This is that time where they make you really dislike Drew McIntyre. They're doing all of this to make Drew McIntyre's moment. It's painfully obvious and painfully annoying at the same time. Why break up the best fucking thing that you have in the WWE? You break up the best spot for Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander.
Yes.
Now they're gonna be Roderick Strong lost.
There you go. Speak
and it's now for what? For what? To give a man that already had his moment in the he had the entire pandemic era.
Yep.
Entire era to himself. And then now we finally get our first celebrated champion that deserves it, that gets all the accolades, that has the look, that has everything that we need, just for them to look like they're gonna potentially turn it back over to Drew just because he can have his moment in front of a fucking crowd.
Mm.
It wasn't nobody else's fault that he didn't have this in front of the crowd. That Bobby Lashley have this fucking moment for 17 years. So now you gotta sit here and make him look like this villain. I see what they're trying to do, but it is in the dumbest way possible. They're trying to make him look like the invincible, strong champion that doesn't need a faction, but the WWE needs the Hurt Business. And it's the fact that you don't have the Hurt Business anymore. I don't give a fuck who you. I swear to God, I will stop watching Monday Night Raw if Baron Corbin becomes a member of the Hurt Business. I'm just saying, they that shit pissed me all over off.
That didn't make any sense.
You put Baron fucking Corbin in a scene to take out Drew McIntyre when you had him take out both Benjamin and Alexander, and Baron Corbin holds his own. What message are you trying to send to us right now? This is just so for you guys. Bravo to y'all for not watching WWE programming, because you ain't missing shit.
Yeah,
this is fucking horrible. So the thing about you guys that would be so phenomenal for y'all is if y'all watched WrestleMania without seeing these builds, this is a pretty damn good card. But just don't pay attention to these fucking builds, because these builds are fucking shit. These builds are shit. So it's really watching it for the card, and my God, why break up the Hurt Business? I don't fucking know why you break up the Hurt Business. There's no reason for it. None whatsoever.
It was one of the best things on Monday Night Raw.
It was the best thing on Monday Night Raw.
It was the best thing in WWE.
Yeah.
No,
I don't watch Monday Raw, and I know that was the best thing on Raw.
Obviously, Roman was listen, anybody knows how I feel about the Tribal Chief. I live and die by that Tribal Chief.
It was the best thing on Monday Night Raw.
Right.
Yes, you're right. My bad.
You said, Baron Corbin jumped Drew McIntyre to cash in on Lashley's opportunity. So we're going to see Corbin versus Drew on Raw. And then Fightful Select came out with a report that it was Vince McMahon and Vince McMahon alone that made the call to split up the group. According to the report, the members of the group were shocked with the news.
Yeah.
And both MVP and Bobby Lashley were vocal in being against it. The two met with Vince McMahon about it, and he reportedly dug his heels in even more and was set in his choice. Sources stated that McMahon's decision and sticking to that decision, even with wrestlers trying to talk him out of it, was a blow to morale.
Oh my God! See what I'm saying? You don't even listen to your.
It's all about this McIntyre moment. He wants to be so right. 11 years later, about Drew McIntyre being the guy that is at the expense of the best faction that they've had in this company in God knows how long.
Well, we could have still kept them together, and he could have still lost though. So I don't understand it.
At least the four of them won't be able to go on Twitch and complain about it. So
they made sure that couldn't happen. We got Jason Michael Campbell saying, I'm right there with you, JJ. I'm tired of Drew McIntyre. But he says, I would love for Baron Corbin to be in the Hurt Business. That would be awesome.
Stop reading his comments.
Why? First of all,
dude.
That's why. No, this is why.
No. Time out. You are not gonna send my rant the wrong direction. What the WWE is doing is making us tired of him. Drew McIntyre is fucking awesome. But what they're doing in the positions that they're making us get ready for him is annoying. Because he had the entire 2020 to himself.
Yeah.
Let somebody else shine in 2021. He'll get this moment. When the fans are back in attendance, they will constantly be back in attendance. Drew can have his moment. How about Bobby Lashley?
Well, we'll
And how
have
long is
to.
he gonna? How long is he champ? 60 days, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a couple of weeks for Bobby
Be
Lashley,
a month by the time he defends it against McIntyre.
See what I'm saying? So it's trash. Go ahead. Sorry.
not good for Bobby Lashley and this title reign. But we have to talk about other things that we've missed in the past week, which is about ROH 19th anniversary show. It was a huge show for Ring of Honor with Rush defeating Jey Lethal in the main event. After the match, LFI, the group, attacked Jey Lethal. We had a brawl between Foundation and LFI, with LFI standing tall. And then Brody King came down along with Tony Deppen. And then from behind, Chris Dickinson made his debut in Ring of Honor. And we saw the return of one of the ROH pillars, the Godfather, the former ROH World Champion, Homicide. They came out, they beat down LFI and Jey Lethal. They will now be known as Violence Unlimited. Stat King, you are the ROH expert. You do the reviews on Review of Honor with Ness every single week. What was your thoughts on Violence Unlimited debuting and this new group with the return of Homicide?
Ness and myself really liked it. We loved it. Brody King we have this progression for Brody King when he first comes into ROH, then he's tagging with PCO, then he's with Marty Scurll and Villain Enterprises. Villain Enterprises, goes bankrupt for a very important reason, and Brody King is kind of listless. He's kind of just in the mix, but he doesn't really have too much of an identity. This gives him that identity. This is showing that Ring of Honor is putting money, putting time behind him. It's always a progression to see somebody take over as a faction leader, and him bringing in people from Ring of Honor's past, Ring of Honor's future in Tony Deppen, and the present, bringing somebody to just new blood, is something that's going to be really interesting when you consider that LFI does everything they can do to break the rules, and the whole question is whether or not honor is real. If Foundation was trying to prove that, and they have done that to a certain extent, they took the TV title, they took the tag titles back, but Jey Lethal fell short. The franchise fell short, and Rush continues his path of dominance. So we're going to have to see what's going to happen with Violence Unlimited, but as starts go, really, really great, especially because they did not just lay out LFI. Brody King went to give Jey Lethal a helping hand up off of the mat and then laid him back out with a clothesline. So anybody can get it in Violence Unlimited.
It seems like they're equal opportunists, but Benno, you are a huge Homicide fan. What is your thoughts on the legend returning home?
Yeah, that's my guy. I mean, I feel like Homicide was just like, they flew him in for the 19th anniversary show. Like, yeah, we'll do something with this anniversary show. And then he was just knocking around. They're like, you know what? He's looking good. Let's put him in a stable. Let's do something with this dude. It's 15 years since his peak at ROH. So I don't especially expect a huge amount, in ring from Homicide. But what he can provide is, credibility and a link to that ROH past. I think ROH, in a lot of ways, like, their benefit is they've got that deep history, that 2002 to 2008-ish period that, is the main thing that they big up when it comes to these anniversary shows, your Punks, your Joes, your Homicides, all your Danielsons, all of that stuff. But sometimes it feels like a noose around the neck in that, we're all always comparing them against that glory period. It's not always a good thing for ROH. And I don't think they do the best job of, monetizing that glory period either. Why hasn't Honor Roll got these old shows on? It's a weird thing in that, it's like the two different companies, modern ROH and former ROH. So I love that they brought Homicide in to bridge that gap, maybe, and give a stable like this a bit of credibility. I got to see Homicide do a cop killer on Jey Lethal. It was like I was 18 again in in New York, in the Manhattan Center, or in Chicago Ridge, watching that again. So that made the old school ROH fan in me happy. And if anything can bring out all the fans like me, it's stuff like that. So it was a great way to end the show. And all in all, I enjoyed the show. I feel like it was one of those shows where I think Ring of Honor struggles for an identity as to who they are, in modern wrestling with so much competition. But in so much pushing, Yeah, there is, but in pushing the Lucha guys and having that great three-way on the show, setting these stables up and continuing to push Roosh, I think they're getting a little bit more of an identity. I'd like to see more of that kind of stuff, but yeah, I enjoyed the show far more than I expected to, and yeah, a lot of it's probably just me, in the corner of my room, wanting to bump Beanie Siegel's The Truth because Homicide's out there, so I'm in a happy mood. So it's been a good week in wrestling for me.
Absolutely. No, those ROH old school thieves. Yes, you gotta love them. You gotta love them. What was your match of the night for the 19th anniversary?
I suppose it's hard to go any further than that three-way, I would say. I think it's one of them where if there was a live crowd there, if Bandido and Ray Horace and Flamita got to do those spots, but in front of a crowd, imagine how crazy that crowd would go. Like I think I gave the match 4 stars in the end, but I probably would have given it 4.5 if you've got like a load of people going wild in the front row. It was such a creative match. It was just stuff that I'd not really seen before. That crazy move they did off the corner where all 3 of them kind of somehow all landed on the head at the same time. It's like a fall away slam spot, wasn't it? Into almost a Canadian destroyer.
Like a moonsault slam into a poison Rana. That was
basic.
Then they're all pinning each other with like the boot on each other.
Oh yeah, that was so good. That's the type of stuff you want to see Ring of Honor do, because even in the glory years, Gabe Sapolsky was never a big Lucha fan, so we didn't really get Lucha guys in the old Ring of Honor. These are the types of guys they've been pushing lately, and I think that's you can see the benefit. So that's definitely my highlight of the show.
Yeah, definitely a strong in-ring effort. I wasn't able to watch the entire show, but all the matches that I did see were very different from one another. Especially, I got to highlight Christian versus Draper. I thought that was a great way to use the pure rules in a very cool way, because Draper just kept putting Jonathan Gresham in the ropes to make him lose his rope race. I thought that was creative. I was like, that's smart. I was like, I would figure more people would do that, but that was just, it felt creative to me. Stag King, gotta ask you, what was your match of the night from 19th anniversary?
Speaking for myself and Ness, because we agreed with him this one, despite him not wanting to. It was Jonathan Gresham versus Dak Draper. That match was really, really good. And part of the reason why it was so good is because a lot of people didn't have high expectations for Dak Draper. I mean, Jonathan Gresham is the octopus. It's the guy, it's one of the faces of Ring of Honor. It's one of the faces of technical, pure wrestling. So why is somebody like Dak Draper really deserve to be in the ring with him? And during that match, he really showed why. And the finish of that match is just absolutely incredible. Gresham goes for a tope suicida between the ropes, lands on Draper, but due to the size difference, Draper's like 6'5", Gresham's 5'4". Due to the size difference, he can't knock Draper over. So in his mind, he immediately locks on a sleeper hold. So he turns it into a tope suicida sleeper, as Caprice Coleman called it. And that is forcing Draper to pass out on the outside, but he knows he has to get back in the ring. And so he climbs with Gresham on him. And he gets to the ropes, climbs into the ring, and as soon as he gets into the ring, because of everything he had to do, he passes out. Like, that's just an incredible ending sequence. So definitely a match of the night for us.
With the cheap plug saying the ROH 19th anniversary review right here on True Hill Heat YouTube channel. Yes,
plug.
Cheap plug.
with the glasses on.
And then finally, what we missed was James Storm defeated Eric Young in his 1,000th match on Impact Wrestling this week. He also had in his corner America's Most Wanted, Chris Harris. For all you old school Impact, what a week for old school Impact and old school TNA and ROH fans. You got Homicide and Ring of Honor. You got Chris Harris on Impact Wrestling. What a week for the old school TNA and ROH fans. And yes, we love the passion from Benno. I do want to plug his social media right here at this point. You can follow him. He's always got witty opinions. And yes, he is a Homicide mark. So we love him for that, because he's repping in the UK for us in New York, repping for Homicide. You gotta love it. But we got a couple of more news rundown before we get to preview and predictions. Of course, we got to talk about Andrade's excellent interview with Lucha Libre Online this week, where he talked about a lot of different things. Andrade alleged that WWE pulled Charlotte from WrestleMania 37 after incorrectly diagnosing her as pregnant. 4 days later, it turned out she indeed was not pregnant. They had to know their own further testing. They had to do their own further testing to prove to WWE doctors that she was not pregnant, as they never followed up. Andrade also said that he was getting paid $3 million per year, which Dave Meltzer of Wrestling Observer thinks that he meant $3 million over a 5-year contract that he only did about 3 years of. Andrade then said that Triple H proposed a return to NXT during the time before his release, which he turned down because he wants to be successful on Raw or SmackDown. Later, he did mention that he is open to returning after a couple of years. And then on social media, we got this week Andrade teasing that he is going to be signing with a new promotion. So I gotta ask you, we talked about it more in depth last week. Krssi Love, Top Guy JJ, but I'll start with you, Krssi. What are your thoughts on the new comments from Andrade, most especially WWE getting wrong that Charlotte was pregnant?
So they confused COVID with pregnancy? Is that what happened?
I can't confirm nor deny.
It had to, if my understanding is right, it had to do with some kind of hormone levels that normally start increasing once you do get pregnant. And they thought that was the case, but then like further testing revealed that it was just a regular spike in Charlotte's overall medical history.
Interesting. Okay. Now that they're professional doctors and they know all of the information on your hormones and they know anything that happens in a woman. Great.
Wow.
This just proves that, that they're still fuckboys. So, whatever.
WWE, a whole bunch of fuckboys. We're going to make a t-shirt with Krssi Love, like Krssi Love's face saying that.
I'll wear that.
I love it. I'm going to do it. Okay, great. Yeah. I'm excited. I'm going to give me a hoodie. Give me a sweatshirt. I love a good sweatshirt now.
Top Guy JJ, what's your thoughts on the interview that Andrade did and Triple H proposing him going back to NXT and him turning it down?
Good for Andrade.
Yeah,
it's good for Andrade, man, because at the end of the day, man,
he knows his worth.
Because WWE is in such a position where they feel like they just hold all the cards to everyone's careers, and it's good for wrestlers to say no. It's not okay for me to. What if I never want to come back there? Like, what if I want to have my greener pastures elsewhere? There are other companies in the market that can make me happy. And the fact that what you did to me in my career, because I'm glad he knows how talented he is, because he is a phenomenal fucking talent. Like we cannot spend enough time praising how he has every single gift that there is to have. Like, he's charismatic, he's great in the ring, he has a great look. He's starting to really get the English language down so he can be bilingual in so many different aspects and help the company in so many different ways. And WWE just completely dropped the ball with him. Why? Because he's not 285 pounds, because he's not the stereotypical look of what they want in a guy. Like, because he's not exactly what they envisioned in their champion. That's their loss. So let them continue to have those losses, and people continue, like they have their own vision and their own look. And I'm glad Andrade sees that, and he can have greener pastures elsewhere. And no, you don't timetable me for if I even want to come back to that company.
Right.
I might never want to come back there. Don't be 3 to 4. Like, you're giving me permission to wrestle somewhere else. Get the fuck out of here. Like, you're allowing me for a few years. Like, this is the negotiation that we're having. Like, we're good that I go somewhere for a few years. Like, no. If the paths cross, the paths cross. But there's no timetable on this.
Understandable. We got to show the social media image here of Andrade teasing that he is about to sign.
Oh, that is a sick necklace. Oh my God, I love it.
Promotion. So looking forward to where he's going to go. We got to look forward, and we'll, of course, keep you updated on that right here on True Hill Heat. According to John Alba, the reasoning for the WWE holding off on the WrestleMania ticket sales was rather simple. WWE had not yet signed its contract agreement with the Tampa Sports Authority. In a contract obtained by Alba, it was noted that WWE didn't complete the contract until March 16th, which was the day after tickets were supposed to go on sale. According to a rumor from WrestleVotes, WWE is exploring not having a match for the WrestleMania 37 kickoff show on night one of the 2-day event. As we see, we're going to have a WrestleMania edition of SmackDown. When they started saying that, I was like, oh, that's so cute. You're trying to make them feel better that they get robbed of a WrestleMania opportunity. Poor Street Profits, the Mysterios, Dolph Ziggler, Otis. God damn it. WWE reported.
When I seen that, I was like, oh, so this is what it's come down to.
So we could put Shane and Braun Strowman on fucking WrestleMania, but whatever.
Yeah,
I digress.
Right.
I fucking
In a cage match, yeah.
WWE reportedly sees the first entrance back in front of live ticketed fans as a very huge deal, and it appears they wanted to be something big. And with this leading many to think Drew McIntyre will be the first big entrance to kick off the show, as he said in the past that he would like to be. In a related news, Sasha Banks said in an interview with WWE Germany that her match against Bianca Belair on WrestleMania Saturday will be the main event. Benno, I know you don't watch WWE once again, but what are your thoughts on Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair being the main event of night one of WrestleMania?
Yeah, it's the right decision, but I just wish they'd get out their own way. Like how easy a storyline was that to book? You know, you got your number one contender Royal Rumble winner against your champion. Like how many times have we done this? And they have to mess around. You know.
Speak it.
I've just been waiting for them to go, oh, you know what? Yeah, Charlotte's available now. Let's throw her in. Let's make it a 3-way. Like, everything would shock me at this point. But it's the right call. It is. It should be the main event, you know, especially when you've got 2 nights to do it, and it can be your night one main event. Yeah, those girls absolutely deserve that spot. And yeah, it's great that it's going to be in front of fans as well. You know, let if he wants to, let Drew open the show. You know, let him. You know, that's
because he's going to win.
Yeah, he's gonna get. I mean, the other thing is, well, first person out there is probably going to be the most over person of the night. I'm kind of shocked that Triple H hasn't talked his way into getting a match on WrestleMania card, just so he can be that first guy to walk out and get that
please.
You know what he's like?
He's like, we are taking over WrestleMania.
We got another week around the woods yet.
You gonna get one of our YouTube subscribers wild up. You gonna get Jason Michael fucking. You gonna get his stones going, man. Having Triple H on this card.
Oh, his comment is coming. I'm sure his comment is coming.
Krssi Love, what's your thoughts on Sasha and Bianca seeming solidified that they are the main event of WrestleMania now that it seems that they want Drew to kick off the show?
So remember last week I told you I didn't really want to watch the show because, you know, I just didn't feel like WrestleMania was giving me anything now. So now I will watch it because the girls are main eventing, and the girls have no girls like this have main event before. So I feel like I have no choice. They put my back against the wall. With that being said, the storyline is trash, but I will still support my girls. There you go.
I love it.
Thanks.
It's beautiful. We got Jason Michael Campbell saying, I only know of old school LAX, so I'd love to see Homicide and Hernandez back together. We also got of Romeo, of course. WrestleMania without Mrs. WrestleMania won't be the same. We miss you, Queen. Yes.
Oh, please.
I miss you, Queen. He could turn that we into an I.
We got Fifth Generation Carney saying, if you have the chance to make history, why wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
That's a great question.
You know, I'm just gonna ask Krssi, my love. Like, you know, listen, we are on the same page about this.
Yep.
Let's have more energy for the Sasha and Bianca for them to deliver. Like they deserve this shit.
They
deserve it. And
it's
WWE dropped the ball. We know that, right. But I'm celebrating the 2 women.
Exactly.
The two women of color that actually any 2 people of color to get this spot. I am going to take it. I know they're going to deliver. They're going to deliver on that stage.
My story, I put it on my Insta story. Like, this is history. Like, this is something like girls have been like looking to do. Like we had girls main event already, but now this is a different kind of like level to this now, where we have two young women of color doing this, and two badass women, I must say, that are going to probably perform their ass off. They're going to probably get like good 45 minutes, hopefully, to do something to close the show with a banger. I'm praying that. Oh, okay, Stim.
That's a lot of minutes.
It's not
minutes.
This isn't New Japan or AEW.
That's a lot of minutes. That's a lot of minutes.
I've never seen Bianca.
It can be 45 minutes with entrances. Hold
on. Big, little easy. Like
I'm sure the runway is at least 15 minutes to get down. Y'all know that.
Y'all brutal.
I mean, if you walk, all right. If you walk at Undertaker pace, maybe.
But remember, Bianca be hopping down. She's gonna be tired by the time she gets to the damn ring.
Sasha's entrance is gonna be at least 5 minutes. She is gonna soak all of that shit in.
And again, I'm talking about what ring entrances. They're gonna introduce. They're gonna like introduce both of them like big. It's gonna be a big night, and it's gonna be humongous. I'm sure if she could get Snoop to introduce her, she'd probably do that too. But I think Snoop is on bad terms with them right now.
Snoop is in the doghouse right now.
Yeah, he's in the doghouse right now.
He's in the doghouse right now.
What I'm saying is, it's the whole time. They don't have to be in a ring that long. But yes, I feel like they should and will deliver something, especially in front of fans. That's what I mean.
Absolutely.
Gosh, guys. Cutting my head off. It's so early in the morning.
No, I'm not cutting your head off.
No. First of all, I'm trying to rile you. First of all, I'm trying to rile you up. I try to rile you up for this energy for this match because you were kind of deflated. Like, don't be deflated.
I mean, I was though, but I'm happy. No, but I'm still happy that they are gonna main event.
We got fifth generation Carney saying thanks for the first good belly laugh of the day, Miss Love. Thank you.
You're welcome, friend.
She was so annoyed by the reaction. She was like, whatever, yo.
We got one more piece of WWE news. William Shatner is the celebrity inductee in the WWE Hall of Fame. You also got Titus O'Neil announced as the Warrior Award inductee. Should have been Shad Gaspar.
Oh my God, are you kidding me?
But then finally, you have
he's hosting. Why? What is this? I don't understand. Like, who's the committee? I swear. Can I write a letter of complaint?
The committee is Vince. The committee is
so the
Vince.
Warrior Award is going to be. So hold on. So the Warrior Award. Time out. So the Warrior Award is going to go to Titus O'Neil. So what's going to he's going to be introduced by Hulk Hogan.
Probably.
That would be great.
Yo, they just know how to make. They know how to turn chicken salad into chicken shit.
Like like what?
Absolutely. I love that idea. That's a great idea. And then finally, you have one more inductee, and it's none the other. Rob Van Dam.
That's beautiful. That one is a good one.
Yo, Rob Van Dam is so high. He's so high that he acknowledged his induction like 3 days after he was actually announced as the inductee. Like, 3 days later, he was like, oh, I forgot his post, his caption, but he acknowledged it literally 3 days later. I was like, are you fucking serious right now?
Hey, he's living his best life. He's got 2 girlfriends, man. Leave him alone. Leave him alone. AEW news, according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, AEW has not used Eva Lise because there was an issue between her and a few of the coaches. While they haven't been booking her, she also has not been let go. Very interesting, with whenever we hear like backstage problems with AEW. So always worth note. So we'll see if we see Eva Lise in the future or not. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Maybe They kind of been doing a little bit more with Diamante as a singles act, and I was like, why is that? And now that this explains it. So yeah, she also did like a Q&A on line saying that they've been using Diamante more as a singles, and they haven't really been using her. But Dave Meltzer explained here, and a piece of like additional extra news. We have AAA, a very interesting situation. Apparently, AAA weren't aware that Lio Rush defeated or was going to defeat Laredo Kid for the AAA Cruiserweight Championship on MLW Fusion. They acknowledged the title change, but then they decided not to and just give back the Cruiserweight Championship to Laredo Kid. So that is why Laredo Kid had the title on AEW Dynamite this week. And Leo Rush actually retweeted this story and said, "Messy as hell." So yes,
sometimes the grass ain't always. Sometimes the grass ain't always green on the other side.
Yeah,
he's still got the MLW title.
He's still getting done dirty out there in these streets.
Then the last bit of news and reaction is, of course,
wow.
I'm sorry. What the fuck is that?
That's a belt.
This week, New Japan Pro Wrestling debuted the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, the title that would symbolize two of the greatest and the most beautiful, the most prestigious titles in the wrestling industry of the IWGP Heavyweight Championship.
I need a kid.
Of the IWGP Intercontinental Championship. And they said they would make a belt that represents the best, that represents the strongest. What they didn't tell us was they did an experiment.
I need a drink.
Where they gave the IWGP Heavyweight Championship a penis, they gave the Divas Championship a vagina, and they married the two. They had a baby, and it was this.
Oh. Dear God.
So that's the two. They had the two separate belts, and they made it to one, right? Is that belt?
Correct. Yes.
Just leave that picture up for this real quick. I just need to say this with that picture up. What in the WWE is that?
Oh, this feels like, you mentioned the story with Leo Rush there, and that feels very WCW. That feels like Jushin Liger losing the belt via tequila shot to Juventud, and New Japan just pretending that didn't happen. This feels very WCW as well, in that, like, remember when, like, Nitro was clearly not the show it was in, like, the end of 1998 into 1999, but we all kept watching it, and then they changed the set. And they brought in, like, DJ Ran, and it looked different and it felt different. And it was like, you know what? Yeah, this isn't my WCW anymore. This is New Japan's moment. Because New Japan, and I've been one of the last holdouts of, like, no, it's still good. It's still good. Gedo still knows what he's doing. Everything's fine. And now they bring this belt in, and it's like, yeah, you know what? Maybe, like, it's shining daylight on the situation that, yeah, New Japan hasn't been the same the last couple of years. They've made some crazy decisions these last couple of years, and I know it's only a belt, but I feel like it symbolizes something about what New Japan is in 2021.
The main title of
it looked like Cameron's belt that he used to wear with the pink fur on his head, and you know the one I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Why? What
Dipset days.
There you go. The Dipset. Yes,
This is what Cody and QT are gonna feud over. CJJ, you gotta give this. You gotta understand. This is long-term booking. This is that's what it is. Cody can't have the world title anymore. He gave the TNT title to Darby. He needs to invent a new title for himself.
Stop it.
The only other thing I want to add is
I didn't think. Go ahead, please.
The only other thing I want to add is Jay White would not have done this. You all wanted God. You all wanted this God to win at Wrestle Kingdom. Jay White would have never done this to us.
Wow.
He's preaching. He's preaching. He's speaking the truth. Benno, any thoughts, comments, feelings that this IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, and will this further the divide? It seems like that New Japan has created between Kota Ibushi and the fans, because we all thought, I think years ago, when Kota Ibushi was on the quest and on the chase for the IWGP Heavyweight Champion, I think we all thought he was going to be the second coming of Hiroshi Tanahashi. He would just have this relationship with the fans. They would adore him, be behind him. But this whole situation with the title has created this divide that has caused fans to not really view him the same. Tanahashi and Okada are against him in storyline. You got Will Ospreay having to attack his girlfriend to even get heat on himself.
Right.
Like, it's a whole domino effect from this Ibushi situation. So what's been your thoughts, Benno?
It's all Ibushi's fault.
Yeah, it's like WWE though. We say there about get out your own way with booking. You're booking Kota Ibushi versus Will Ospreay. That's enough. We don't need this bullshit. We don't need the B Priestley stuff. We don't need this dumb new belt. Like, the thing about the belt is what it represents as well. Like, it's ugly as fuck, but they're just binning off the lineage of the two belts that came before it to start this new belt in this new area in New Japan. And you know what? Like, yeah, they haven't given Kota Ibushi the run that you would have expected. And I know we're going to get into it, but it wouldn't shock me if this becomes the Will Ospreay belt, just to give people more reason to give Will Ospreay shit, because Lord knows that man doesn't need any more reasons. This will end up being the Will Ospreay belt, and this is what we'll remember New Japan for in 2021.
Unfortunately, or for the better, I see.
I'm just so confused right now.
That is now the worst belt in all of professional wrestling.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Like no.
The 24/7
You're not gonna no.
Yeah.
I haven't been watching.
I'm
So I
sorry.
don't know.
I'm not defending this title in any way. No, this title becomes the worst title in professional wrestling to me because of what it replaced. It replaced the most beautiful thing in all of professional. Like that belt was a symbol of excellence. That was the most gorgeous thing ever. And we get the Divas Championship made into the Heavyweight Championship.
And the Divas Championship is a horrendous belt, by the way. I hated it.
I think
we get that belt.
That's one of the ugliest
belt 22 years later.
Yeah. Romeo says, great to have two women of color against each other in the main event. Ronda Rousey, our Lord and Savior, paved the way. I knew SP was gonna pin the comment.
I agree.
Shut up.
Ness says, I love Ivelisse, but it's noted that she has attitude problems. It's definitely a reoccurring thing, and it sucks as a fan. We have Fifth Generation Carney saying, on New Japan's website, they explained the belt, which made me understand it, but it still hurts my eye.
No, I don't understand the explanation.
Well,
I don't understand anything about it. No, I don't even want to hear it.
No, I didn't even want to do that. John Elite says, God, that belt is atrocious.
It is.
Big Man Dog says that belt would look okay if the side plate matched the main plate. He said the square side plates are what makes it look absolutely horrible. So
I don't know. It looks like something a Power Ranger would wear.
Dude, that shit looks like
and not in a good way. And not in a good way.
That shit looks like a custom title made on WWF No Mercy.
Wow.
It's
not that good.
Really, I know everybody is against this, but you seem the most adamant about
that belt. Sucks, yo. It replaced the most beautiful thing in professional wrestling.
Yeah,
that belt needed no change.
I agree with you, but we got to move on. Put your comments in the comment section because we want to know what your preview and predictions are for New Japan Pro Wrestling Sakura Genesis 2021. I'll run through the card. You know how we do with these major shows. We give our predictions for the major matches on the card. With New Japan, there's a lot of multi-man matches as we usually go through. So we're going to kick off the show with Dookie teaming up with Zack Sabre Jr. and Taichi to versus Jado, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Loa. This is going to preview GOD versus Dangerous Tekkers. You got Yoshihashi, Tomohiro Ishii, Hiroki Goto, the never open weight 6-man tag team champions, teaming up with Toru Yano and Kazuchika Okada to versus Dick Togo, Yujiro Takahashi, Taji Ishimori, Kenta, and Evil. This is previewing the never open weight 6-man tag team title match between the Bullet Club and Chaos. You got Shingo, Tetsuya Naito, and Sonata versus the United Empire's Great-O-Khan, Jeff Cobb, and a mystery, a new member of the United Empire. Benno, you watch New Japan as much as I do, as much as probably even J News of J News Japan does. So I will ask your opinion. Who do you think the X of the United Empire will be on this night?
Yeah, it's tough because I would have said one of Sho and Yo, but they're later in the card. So I do think there'll be some kind of angle there. For that, though, I don't know. Like maybe I suppose the borders are open a little bit with Bad Luck Fale on the show. Could it be a Robbie Eagles or somebody like that with a link to Ospreay in the past? I've heard a lot of talk of Toei Hanare. I think that would make sense. That would fit Commonwealth theme that they're kind of going for with this Ospreay stable. I think it's going to be somebody of that level, probably.
Yeah, I think that it's going to be Toru Nare. I think they've been doing a good job of kind of building his story with the losses and him getting frustrated that's going to pay off here with him being the X for the United Empire. You got Kojima and Tanahashi teaming up to verse Jay White and Bad Luck Fale. This is previewing the feud between Tanahashi and Switchblade over the Never Openweight Championship. And then the next match we got to predict here. We got for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships is going to be El Desperado and Yoshinobu Kanemaru of Suzuki Gun versus Roppongi 3K. First time in well over a year, Sho and Yo will team up as Yo returns to in-ring action, and they're going back after the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles. They've won multiple times. I think they're 3 or 4 time champions at this point, so they're really making their mark in the Junior Heavyweight division. But Sho has been on a roll as a singles competitor as well, so it's an interesting time for Yo to come back. But who do you got here? Let's start with you, Stat King. Roppongi 3K versus Suzuki Gun.
I'm a known Roppongi 3K fan, so I wanna go with them. But a part of me also feels as though this could be a way to maybe cause an actual split in the group. Like maybe Yo comes back, they lose the match. Sho tries to say Yo came back too soon, something to that effect. There's a little bit of friction there, and maybe that's But at the same time, there's not that many junior heavyweight tag teams, so maybe they do need to. They do need to get the belts and kind of cement that Yo has fully returned. But I'm gonna go with I'll go with Roppongi 3K winning.
All right, Benno, who you got, Roppongi 3K or Suzuki Gun?
I'm going Suzuki Gun. I think, to your point there, I think it's going to be the switch point for these guys as a tag team. It reminds me of Strike Force at WrestleMania 5 when they teamed them up after 5 months of not being a team, and then Rick Martel walks out. I mean, to be honest, we just reviewed that on GRAPPL. That's why it's stuck in my brain. It's not just that I'm old. But I saw that angle take place, and I thought that's happening.
Santana, Rick Martel on me. Oh my god!
It's coming. Like it's coming. I don't know whether it's going to be Sho or Yo who's going to be Rick Martel, but I think they've hit the ceiling of what you can do with these guys as a tag team. There's 2 clear singles guys here. Wouldn't surprise me if Gedo just leaves them together again for another 4 years with the way New Japan's being booked recently. But it's got to be done. Like, it's got to be done. You got to do that turn.
I would.
You should shout for the Rick Martel, Sho or Yo. Yeah.
I'm gonna say Sho would be Rick Martel. He's just the one that has more character to them than Yo. Yo, I think is a natural babyface. When you look at someone like Sho against him, how powerful he looks, how aggressive he could be, he just seems like the heel in this situation. So, but I think that Gato don't care about no tag teams. He don't care about no tag teams, but he's not like Vince McMahon and not caring about no tag teams. No, it's to Benno's latter point. He just keeps tag teams together way longer than they need to be. So I think Roppongi 3K regain the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles here. Krssi Love, who you got, Roppongi 3K or Suzuki Gun?
I'm going to go with Suzuki Gun.
You're going with Suzuki Gun? Are you thinking the same thing as these guys? Roppongi 3K split here?
Yep. I mean, I don't know much about them, but it sounds like the stats are against them, and they're going to win. They're going to win it up and split at the same time. So,
absolutely, that's what Stat King should start saying. Whenever he does predictions, he should be like, "The stats are against you."
Yeah.
That's the thing. I want Roppongi 3K to win because the stats, like, they would be cementing themselves as one of the tag teams. But I would prefer it if they had the breakup.
I just think they're going to keep them together long enough for them to break the Young Bucks record. The Young Bucks have the record for IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team title reigns as a tag team, at least, because Rocky Romero has the most individually. But I think they're going to want Roppongi 3K to be that team, and they don't have another team in the running behind them as far as like Young Lions to come in replace their role. Top guy JJ, who you got, Roppongi 3K or Suzuki Gun?
Oh, when I get a Strike Force reference, I'm definitely going Suzuki Gun. I'm so like, what? Strike Force? Yo, you hit me with
I probably should have gone Sean and Marty.
You hit me with the 88 reference. You hit me with the 88 reference. I'm going Suzuki Gun here.
Absolutely. And then finally, we have the main event of Sakura Genesis for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship.
That's out of date.
Look at that. How do you replace that?
Yeah.
Kota Ibushi will go one-on-one with the New Japan Cup 2021
Look
winner,
how happy he looks.
Will Ospreay. Who you got? Top Guy JJ, let's start with you. Will Ospreay versus Kota Ibushi.
Yo, I hope they both lose because no one deserves that title. Yo, they gotta keep this belt. They're gonna I've been on the Will Ospreay band. The fuck. Oh fuck! Why do this during my prediction? Yo, I've been on the Ospreay bandwagon for the past month and a half, but he don't deserve to carry that bullshit. That's Ibushi's burden. That's Ibushi's burden that he's gonna have to carry for a few more months until somebody saves this company and resurrects the old title. Because that's Ibushi's. Look, he's the only one that needs to go through this bullshit. No one else needs to go through this crap.
So wrong. Krssi Love, who you got? Ospreay or Ibushi?
Now you know I love both these guys, right? You know I'm a huge Ibushi fan, but I feel like Will Ospreay is gonna win. So he's gonna have to take that trash ass belt though.
He's gonna have to take the heat that comes with carrying that title. Benno,
Trash ass belt. Say trash ass.
who you got? Ospreay or Ibushi winning this one? And I do want to ask because me, Krssi Love, and Top Guy JJ talked about it, I believe, last week. What were your thoughts on the angle with Will Ospreay and B. Priestley?
Thanks for that. Yeah, they I mean, like I said before, like Will Ospreay doesn't need the heat, and like this is an easy match. It's Ospreay versus Ibushi. Why do you need to complicate it with that tasteless garbage? Yeah, it was unnecessary. It was desperate. It was just not what this needed at all. And somebody should have been the grown up in the room to say this was a bad idea. That aside, as a match,
that's a good one.
Yeah. You need that, especially when Ospreay's involved, unfortunately. But like, look, he's not a smart man. We know that. And, you know that he gets a lot of heat from my corner of the world. Some of it justified, some of it completely overblown. And I think more of that heat's coming because I do think he's going to win. I think it would be talk about ghetto booking. He will do this often. He'll put a belt on a guy. This is an Ospreay's crowning moment as a top guy in New Japan. It's a bit like what he did with Evil. He'll get the belt for a little while, and then later at some point we'll get the big Ospreay run, say like a Wrestle Kingdom or sometime early next year. I could see a few-month run with Ospreay to establish him as that top guy without yet making him that tippy top guy. So I think that's coming, and he's going to take that ugly-ass belt with him as well.
and this would be an interesting way to get back to Okada in the title picture, which he just seems to be running aimlessly in the wind when he's not involved in the heavyweight championship picture. So Ospreay winning kind of opens the door for that. Stat King, who you got, Ospreay or Ibushi?
I don't want to pick Ibushi, but I really don't want to pick Ospreay either.
I said the same shit.
It's just very difficult. I'm going to go with Ospreay just because it opens up more options. It seems as though Ibushi, even though he's had this title since January 4th, and we're only 2-3 months, we're about 3 months into it. It seems as though he's already kind of packed in an 8-month reign into 3 months. At least that's what it feels like to me for some reason. I don't exactly know why, but and it's crazy because he's really only it was Sonata, Sonata and then Naito. That's really been it. But I think Ospreay opens up more avenues, and it's almost as though Ospreay needs the win more than Ibushi needs the win. Ibushi already had that moment where he, beats Naito and then, Jay White. But so Ospreay at least has that, and when Ospreay gets that moment, it really does cement United Empire. That's really what it means. And I think that he has the ability to win the match with whoever that person is that debuts, whether it's Robbie Eagles, whether it's Toa Henare, whether it's somebody completely out of the blue. that group later in the main event, I think that makes Sakura Genesis the United Empire show, and I'll give it to Ospreay.
So we got Ospreay, a couple of Ospreys, a couple of Bushi. I'm gonna go with the Bushi winning this one, retaining the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Regardless of our feelings on how the title looks, we know that Ibushi and Ospreay are two of the best wrestlers in the world. So they're going to go out there. They're going to probably get 25, 30 minutes and tear up this joint. And Ospreay has been on hell of a roll. Like, he had a match of the year candidate against Zack Sabre Jr. in the New Japan Cup, match of the year candidate in the finals of the New Japan Cup against Shingo Takagi, that five-star plus classic at Wrestle Kingdom versus Okada. So Ospreay has been on a hell of a level, and so has Ibushi with his great matches at Wrestle Kingdom. So this has all the makings of another match of the year candidate. And we got Fifth Generation Carney in the comments on YouTube saying, Benno calling it the Ospreay belt. Talk me into Ospreay. So you're convincing people on this predictions and previews to go with Ospreay in the main event. You can watch New Japan Pro Wrestling Sakura Genesis on New Japan World, the app. It's going to be available. I believe it goes live at 3 a.m. Eastern time, I want to say, or 4 a.m. Eastern time. You got to double check that, but you could definitely check it out. And we'll be back here on True Hill Heat YouTube channel going live with our roundtable review. It's going to be me, Jay News, and Phil Lindsay of Bleacher Report joining us live to review Sakura Genesis. So you can keep in contact, keep up to date with what happened. And one more card that we got to do a quick preview and predictions for. I just want to hear your thoughts on the NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver Night 1 preview and predictions, because we're going to be back with True Hill Heat 120 this coming Thursday, hours before TakeOver Stand and Deliver Night 2. So we'll do a preview of that. We'll hear some thoughts on the WrestleMania lineup from Miss Krssi Love and Top Guy JJ. So tune in for True Hill Heat 120. But one more card before we get to True Hill Heat 120 is NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver Night 1. In one of the matches I'm very much looking forward to, you're going to have a battle of the best technical wrestlers on NXT. Pete Dunne going one-on-one with Kushida. This is like tearing at Benno's heartstrings, because you got the New Japan legend of Kushida versus your Brit boy himself, Peter England, Peter Doom. So in this one, Benno.
This is a match where, like, I think Pete Dunne's he's had a weird couple of years, and I feel like this recent run on NXT, he's felt more like himself. You know, he stopped messing around with that non-league NXT UK garbage, and now he's in proper NXT. Like, I'll say, I'm the Brit, I can say that it's the way, it's the absolute
Shots
worst.
Fired.
Off that show. But NXT itself has brought something out of Pete Dunne recently. And yeah, it's gonna be a banger. I love Kushida. It feels a little bit thrown together, but at the same time, these two are just going to go out there and kill it. They're going to kill it no matter what, aren't they? Whatever the scenario is around it. So, yeah, I think it's a pick 'em really, but it's probably Pete Dunne. They don't seem to be that high on Kushida, so I'd go with a Pete Dunne win on this one.
This seems like two guys that are like the perfect opponents for each other, because this is going to be technical. It's going to be hard hitting. It's going to be stiff. I agree with Benno. Pete Dunne needs the win here, so I think he's going to get it. Although Kushida obviously needs a win, but they don't like Kushida, so I'm convinced of that. After going for him at Vengeance Day and him losing to Johnny Gargano, who was a chicken shit heel for all of the 18 months before and then the months after that, but yeah, he looked like the old school Johnny Takeover in that match because he was going against Kushida. I'm convinced they don't like Kushida. So, Stacking, who you got? Kushida versus Dunne.
I'm going Pete Dunne.
Pete Dunne for the win. Bitter end. Top Guy JJ.
Oh, Pete Dunne all the way. I mean, yeah, I think I covered all the points on Kushida. Yeah.
Who you got, Krssi?
I mean, I won't be mad whichever one wins, to be honest. But I'm gonna go with Pete Dunne, even though Kushida should win. But go ahead, Pete Dunne, my boo.
In one of the most convoluted messes in NXT history, you had the announcers this week on NXT go through 3 pages of an explanation of a 12-man battle royal which the last 6 competitors would be in this gauntlet for the #1 contendership for the NXT North American Championship. And those contestants are Isaiah Swerve Scott, Leo Ruff, Bronson Reed, Cameron Grimes, Dexter Loomis, and L.A. Knight. So, who do you think wins the Gauntlet Eliminator at NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver? Let's start with you, Top Guy JJ.
Oh God, my heart wants to go with LA Knight. My heart wants to go with LA Knight, but I think it's too fast to pull that trigger. I'm gonna go with I don't know why they high on him, Dexter Loomis. I'm gonna go with Dexter Loomis winning this gauntlet for whatever fucking reason, to go on to have a regular ass match with Johnny Gargano on night 2. Color me not intrigued.
Yeah, I don't think anybody would be intrigued by that. But Krssi Love, who you got?
Cameron Grimes. That's who I'm going with. Even though it don't make no sense. Go with my heart. Cameron Grimes. It's probably not going to happen, but that's what I want. Yep.
To the moon.
Yep, there we go.
Stag King, who you got in this Gauntlet Eliminator?
I'm gonna go with LA Knight because he's got that. As soon as much as you're saying, yeah, it's too soon to pull the trigger on him.
That name is such trash, though.
There was nothing wrong with Eli Drake, but LA Knight sounds so much better because it's copyrightable. But I would go with LA Knight because, yeah, while he is brand new to NXT, that is kind of what NXT has done over the years. They've kind of propelled people, especially new signings. They've given them that spotlight moment. He doesn't have to win the match, but giving him that spotlight moment helps solidify him in front of crowds.
Makes sense. And then finally, Benno, who you got in the Gauntlet Eliminator here?
I think we all lose because Dexter Loomis is in the match. But if you want to make me... Look, I saw the TV show Dexter. I've seen this done. I don't need it on WWE.
Yeah, he's not good.
He's awful. Awful. I don't know what this... he symbolizes what NXT is now in 2021. Yeah. If you want to force me to make a pick, because I was a big Shane Strickland guy, I'll go Isaiah Swerve Scott because that's the match I'd most want to see. But it's probably unlikely.
Yeah, we got a couple of people going with their heart, a couple of people going with their brain here. My heart is saying I want Bronson Reed to win because I feel like he's been on the cusp of getting an opportunity at the North American Championship. But my head is saying they've been building Dexter Loomis to get this opportunity. He's been feuding with the Way. Unfortunately, they are going to burden Johnny Gargano. We just got Johnny TakeOver back last TakeOver, and they're going to take it away from us and give him Dexter Loomis. So that's what's going to happen. Next, we got to talk about the NXT Tag Team Championships is on the line as it's going to be MSK versus the Grizzled Young Veterans versus Legado del Fantasma. This comes off the heels of Danny Burch getting an injury that will put him out for 6 to 8 months. Thus, him and Oni Lorcan had to relinquish the NXT Tag Team titles. So now we have the winners of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic 2021 MSK, the finalists, the Grizzled Young Veterans, the last 2 years, and Legado del Fantasma, who got to the semifinals in the tournament. Benno, who do you got in this triple threat match? GYV, MSK, LDF. Who you got?
I got to be a homer on this one and go GYV. Zach Gibson's from my part of the world, Liverpool up here in England. So yeah, those guys. I love that those guys have escaped to NXT proper. James Drake has proved a lot of haters wrong. They're a great team, and I'll go with them. I do enjoy Mendoza and Wacky and Wild, but yeah, that's my pick.
Understandable. Stag King, who you got?
I don't know if they do this in NXT, but going with MSK.
MSK, little old school rascals for you. I'm going to go with GYV in this one. I'm going to agree with John Elite as well as 5th generation Carney GYV all day. That's voting with my heart. I think it's voting with your brain as well because I think that MSK, if they were going to win outright, they would have been one from Burch and Lorcan. But they wanted to keep holding off on it because they want to build to this big moment for them to win the tag team titles. So it makes sense for them to hold off on it, have GYV get their chance, and then MSK down the road can beat GYV for the tag team titles. Krssi Love, who you got? MSK, GYV, or LDF?
I'm gonna go with GYV for the win, friend.
Me, that's a good one. We got another one with GYV. All right, top guy JJ.
And this is why this is WWE shit. So I'm going with MSK to just they're just gonna catapult MSK right to the top of the food chain and just shit on GYV again for like the 97th time because they deserve a run at these tag titles, but they never seem to get it.
All right. So that's fair. And now we got in my opinion, a double main event for night one. The NXT United Kingdom Championship will be on the line as Volta, the longest reigning champion in NXT UK history, as well as the longest reigning champion in all of WWE, going one-on-one with the former NXT champion, Tommaso Ciampa, the man that ages so badly.
Yo, like what happened? Like, why does he have a head full of hair now? Like,
yeah,
he
just
was
don't grow
bald.
the head. Yeah. I don't know why
Take the
you're
hair. Like, what's happening right now,
badly.
dude? Oh man.
Let's start with Krssi
That's someone's
Love.
grandpa.
Who you got? Volta versus Tommaso Ciampa. This one is a match that everyone is looking forward to, and a lot of people is calling the most must-see match of WrestleMania week.
I definitely could agree with you there. However, I'm going to go with Volta for the win, friend. I don't see Grandpa Ciampa winning this match right now. So that's my pick. Grandpa Ciampa needs to just go sit down for a couple of, he's not, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what happened after he came back. It's been kind of downhill for me. I don't know.
Well, he has been cutting better promos. He's more motivated in this.
But they're just not letting him win any. Okay, go ahead.
Not really. Yeah. Top guy JJ, who you got? Ciampa or Volta?
Tommaso Ciampa damn sure ain't winning the UK Championship. That's a dub. Volta is definitely winning this match. This match is gonna be a banger though. This match is gonna be really good, but Ciampa ain't winning this title.
Benno, who you got? Ciampa or Volta?
Yeah, it's what we always imagined. The guy from Boston versus the guy from Austria fighting over the United Kingdom Championship. It's what we all want in the UK. We're all sitting on our living room singing "God Save the Queen." We love Walter though. We do love we do love a bit of Walter over here. And he never disappoints in a big singles match. So I think it's a Walter win, and I think we get the match of the night definitely here.
Absolutely agreed there. Stat King
going with Walter and Benno. Like how. You're talking about Pete Dunne escaping NXT UK. Look at the UK title escaping NXT UK.
Oh, that's
everyone's escaping.
So
it should have been
fleeing a ship. Yeah,
should have been called Takeover Escape. We got John Elite in the comments saying that he's gone with Volta. I agree with you guys, unanimous. Volta for the win. We also got John Scott, my co-host on Powered 4 SP3, saying Volta to get the W for me for Powered 4 Showcase. We will be showing Volta in our main event match. 8 matches, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. on the hour. Little plug there by John Scott, good man. And we got Romeo saying Volta has a title defense the next day against Rampage Brown. Yes, NXT UK. So we'll see if he makes it out this week as NXT UK champion. And then finally, you got the main event for TakeOver Stand and Deliver Night 1. It's going to be Io Shirai defending the NXT Women's Championship against Raquel Gonzalez. It was back at TakeOver War Games that Raquel Gonzalez defeated Io Shirai in the female War Games. Since then, Raquel Gonzalez has been dominant. She's defeated Rhea Ripley, sent her packing to the main roster. She's won the Women's Dusty Cup. She's been the first ever women's tag team champions for like
2 seconds.
Less than an hour. And now she gets an opportunity at the women's championship. And after making Io Shirai look like an absolute chump on NXT this week, who do you got winning this one? Shirai versus Gonzalez. Let's start with our special guest, Benno.
I think it's going to be Gonzalez. I think we want you want a big title change, I suppose, on create excitement for night 2, give everyone a big moment, and yeah, they're clearly behind her, aren't they? So yeah, I'm going with her. I love Io Shirai, but I think you can do rematches, and there's more money in this feud as well if you go that route. So yeah,
for a year.
Exactly. There's more that they can get at this, because I don't want Io Shirai to go to the main roster. So I'm all for them getting more out of this feud. Stacking, who you got, Raquel or Io?
I'm also gonna go with Raquel Gonzalez. They do seem like they want her to be something big in NXT. She's slowly been getting more and more long form matches, which is something that you need to have under your belt if you're going to be a champion in NXT. You got to be able to show that you can carry a feud and carry matches. And she'll be the first. Ember Moon is technically the first to hold the NXT Women's Championship and the NXT Women's Tag Champions. But still, being the second person to do it's no slouch either.
Absolutely. Top guy JJ.
Yeah, I mean, you can't go any other direction than Raquel right here, man. You can't make her basically beat Rhea Ripley. You can't have her be on the tear that she's been on for the past 8 months just to come up short. Io is the baddest chick in NXT, and we know this already. Io is fully established already. It's time to pass that on and start to build that division even bigger than what it already is, because that division is awesome. So let's just keep it going and just keep that torch and give Raquel some new blood, some new rivalries, because Io has ran her course. She's done a great job.
Miss Krssi Love, Raquel or Io?
Raquel for the win, please, pretty please. We are begging the wrestling gods. She needs to win, because our girl has done it for a whole year and she's done great. But it's now time. We've pushed this girl. She's been doing so much. Raquel has been in the forefront of everything, and she sent girls packing. It's her time to shine.
And Romeo in the comments saying Raquel going for first ever women's NXT Triple Crown, Dusty Cup, Tag Champ, Women's Champ. Yes.
There we go.
And
that's beautiful.
He did also confirm, though, that yes, I made that up. Yes, I did. So but I think, yes, I agree with all of you. Raquel Gonzalez gets the victory here, becomes the new NXT Women's Champion. So that is all for our preview and predictions for NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver Night 1. We'll go live for the final Wednesday Night Warriors on Wednesday following NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver Night 1, as well as AEW Dynamite. I'll be there with Chris G and Ness. We'll have a whole party to celebrate the end of the war between NXT and AEW. But we have
to need to be on that show to be the last one. You never had a girl on this, so they got to get on there.
There you go. We have to thank, though, our special guest on this episode, True Heel Heat 119. Benno, you were great. Thank you for adding so much. You watch Ring of Honor. You even appeased us with talking about WWE. Yes. So we always appreciate that. All your thoughts on AEW and New Japan as well. And you talk about all this stuff on your podcast. So please tell the people where they can find you on social media and everything that you're doing in the wrestling media world.
Yeah, definitely. If you want to hear some more hate headed WWE's direction, GRAPPL is our podcast, GRAPPL Spotlight. You can find that on any podcast provider. We're on Patreon, patreon.com/GRAPPL as well. And yeah, we just cover the world of wrestling every Monday night. And yeah, we do throw some WWE in there as well. And then also, I'm headed over in a few seconds over to postwrestlingcafe.com, where we're on the British Wrestling Experience about to interview WCW announcer Gary Michael Capetta. So you can join me over there as well. But just want to say, I had a great time this afternoon. What a way to spend an afternoon with you guys. You made me feel at home. It's been a great time. So thanks so much for having me on.
Of course. I think that we need to have like a super show, have you and Steph on the show next time. We're going to have a real party. It's going to be a real party, and a lot of shenanigans will go down. But thank you so much. You were a lot of fun as our special guest, and you're welcome back anytime. Miss Krssi Love, please tell the people where they can find you.
I am the sensation Miss Krssi Love. You can find me Miss Krssi Love _ or just Krssi Love. I am on IG, Twitter, and on Facebook.
And Stat King,
you can find me covering Ring of Honor. You can No worries. You can find me covering Review of Honor with on my co-host, a three-time baby making champ Ness. We talk about everything that happens in a Ring of Honor ring, and you can also catch me on Dark Power, where I cover AEW Dark Elevation, NWA Power, and MLW Fusion.
You don't sleep like SP.
He covers a lot. He's watching a lot, covering all the bases. Top Guy JJ, where can they find you?
Instagram, you can find me at TrueHill_TopGuyJJ. On Twitch, I'm coming up there soon, very soon on Twitch with the True Hill Top Guy JJ on Twitch. I'm getting into my Avengers and my PS5 streaming very soon. So gotta get my gaming on, you know. But
nice.
Yeah.
Very nice, very nice. And you can find me on Twitter at TrueHillSP3. You can follow the gang True Hill Heat on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. If you're watching this on YouTube right now, drop us a like, share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family. Of course, if you haven't already, push the subscribe button. Almost over 45% of you watching this video do not subscribe, so push that subscribe
button. What's wrong with you?
Hit
Get
the
it
bell,
together.
Press all, so you always get notified. Because we got a lot of great content coming out throughout the week. We got our whole big lineup. Next up is tomorrow, Sunday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. We're going live with our New Japan Pro Wrestling Sakura Genesis Roundtable review. We'll be here with Phil Lindsay of Bleacher Report, and we're back on Monday for True Rewind 45 WrestleMania 12. So,
oh, okay. I gotta be on that one too.
Krssi Love just wants to be on everything. So for our special guest of Post Wrestling and GRAPPL podcast, the one, the only Benno. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, guys. Awesome.
For the beautiful, the lovely Miss Krssi Love. For our resident True Heel alcoholic, Top Guy JJ. For the Stat King, the man of 1,004 numbers. It is me, your True Heel Phenom SP3. This has been True Heel Heat 119. We are